Once again, the question is Uttarakhand ready in 2024 for natural disasters and worst case scenarios, and at the same time man-made disasters? Again, worst case scenarios. Are we ready? Are we prepared? Is there a mechanism with us, or have we worked upon a mechanism antithetical to natural disasters or man-made disasters? Are we trained enough? Do we have resources? Do we have mechanisms? Do we have instruments? Do we have aids to combat against natural disasters and man-made disasters? Are we ready? That's the question. Question is very basic. If we go through these details, is Uttarakhand ready for another set of natural disasters in 2024? Is it ecotourism are we talking about and thinking, or religious tourism which happens on the ground of religion, because we have many sites here like Badrinath, Kedarnath, and Char Dham Yatras and all those things? Is it really religious tourism, ecotourism, or it's just a blind tourism because we are inviting people, good number of people from every direction of this country, and at the same time people from different locations, also from different countries, they come and visit? Is there a cap? Is there a limit for Uttarakhand to invite people practicing ecotourism or blind tourism? That's the question we should, mull over. Dear audience, you're watching Riso and this is Surinder again. The title of this publication is Natural Disaster or Man-Made Disaster Festival. Is Uttarakhand ready for a new set of natural disaster or man-made disaster happening? Very question we are sort of trying to mull over, thinking. If we talk about 1991 Uttarakhand earthquake, we all know about it, and at least 768 people died. That's an official documentation and detailed, and thousands of households, they were destroyed, and the life toll was big and massive. But at the same time, animal life we are talking about, if we talk about, and then infrastructure damage and a kind of chaos which happened in the society, that was huge and massive. And in 1998, Melpa landslide, if we talk about Pithoragarh district, which left almost 221 people, official data once again, died. (1979) and 1980 earthquakes were sort of believed underlying causes at the back of this landslide, according to a research calculation and conclusive statement by Wadia Institute of Himalaya. 1991 Chamoli earthquake, almost 103 people died, official data. 2013 16 June, cloudburst. After 2014 tsunami, that's the worst natural disaster which hit India. At almost like in official data, 5,700 people died, but the thousands went missing, and it's a big damage on the economy of the state and infrastructure, households damage. A complete chaotic situation happened. In 2021, Chamoli disaster happened, like which left almost 200 people died. 2022 Draupadi ka Nanda Peak, where almost 27 mountaineers died due to snow avalanche.
Mountain peak in Uttarakhand's Uttarkashi. 3 mountaineers are still missing, while the death toll has risen to 26, which includes 24 trainees, 2 instructors. Remember, these are the visuals straight on your screens of the rescue operations of the Mammoth rescue operations. Remember, today is in fact the day 3 of the rescue operation, as 3 trainee mountaineers are still missing on this note.
These are some of the major natural disasters which occurred in the state of Uttarakhand, and they took a big toll on human life, infrastructure, households, and other damages, causing a chaotic situation in a society and disturbing its equilibrium at the same time and making it very difficult for human possibility to grow. Himalayan zone is now ready for worst case scenarios. As per the recent research, if we go through those research, zone should certainly be ready for worst case scenarios, and they should be ready to withstand high winds, choppy waters, and other types of natural disasters, including man-made disasters. ICCI report says Himalaya is facing the most worst and severe effects from the climate change. The most severe effects from the climate change is faced by Himalaya. The climate crisis demands a radical shift in the development thinking in the state of Uttarakhand. And this is for certain on the grounds of research and their conclusions that 2024 will certainly experience and witness good number of natural disasters and calamities and man-made disasters. Silkyara Bandbarkot Tunnel, Uttarkashi, we've recently experienced that damage. And in this case, proper environmental studies were not conducted. That was the reason this disaster took place. So the conclusive statement is like the Uttarakhand state must invite Diarchy. A duality of rule is something which we should contemplate and mull over and take into action, where environment and development must walk together, must have a cozy and smooth walk, environment and development. It should not be just environment and environment, it should not just be development. If in the state of Uttarakhand we focus only development such as like, let's say, ecotourism development and development of infrastructures, industrial development, things like that, in order to improve employability and raise our economy, that's good for a state to think in those directions. But at the same time, there must be a balance, there must be an equilibrium between development and environment. If that does not happen, we must be ready for the worst case scenario, specifically in the state of Uttarakhand, as natural disasters and man-made disasters. There are many triggers existing in the state of Uttarakhand, and they will give us worst case scenarios in different different forms of natural disasters and man-made disasters. I just want to say, if we make a balance between the development and the environment, this is going to be a better possibility for the development of Uttarakhand state in terms of ecotourism, in terms of employability, in terms of seizing and stopping our migration. Because if these natural disasters keep happening, man-made disasters keep happening, they keep taking a toll on human life, human habitation, and damaging their economy, damaging their overall possibility of human growth here in the state, then migration will happen. And migration certainly is crimogenetic in various ways, because most of the times when we study human trafficking, it is migration gone terribly wrong. When migration goes wrong, human trafficking is very much likely to take place, very much likely to happen. So here in the state of Uttarakhand, we should understand, because our ecosystem, our environment is very much fragile and delicate, and keeping keeping this delicate and fragile ecosystem and environment of Uttarakhand, we must think for industrial setup, ecotourism, inviting number of tourists in a particular on a particular occasion, particular time. That should all be taken into consideration by better policies, by government interventions, administrative and managerial actions should be there. And it is not just administration but proactive administration. It is not just policy implementation but a kind of proactivity in policy implementations which can cause ecotourism, industrial development, growth, employability and stop migrations in the state of Uttarakhand. But they are all interrelated and interconnected, because if these natural disasters they keep happening and man-made disasters they keep occurring, it is certainly a damage and the blow on the economy of this state. And if the economy of the state doesn't get stabilized, doesn't become stable, then people are bound, people are compelled to move out, and as they move out, lot of crimogenetic possibilities will also occur, and then again once again the damage on human life.
अलग-अलग मुद्दे होते हैं। पहाड़ों के बारे में कहा जाता है कि पहाड़ों का पानी और पहाड़ों की जवानी जो है वो पहाड़ के ही काम नहीं आते हैं। जब हम गंगा जी को ऐसे कलकल बहते देखते हैं, चाहे जल हो चाहे बिजली हो, सबका संचार होता है, लेकिन बांध कहाँ बनते हैं? तो पहाड़।
जी, पहले तो आप लोगों का स्वागत है। ये मणगने घाट में बैठे हैं। मैं डॉक्टर जयहरी श्रीवास्तव अभी वर्तमान में पढ़ा रहा हूँ मैं। तो मैं यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ी समस्या जो मुझे लगी है कि ये एक ऐसा क्षेत्र है कि जो आप जानते हैं संवेदनशील जोन में आता है और यहीं से भगीरथी है बहती है। अब मुझे नहीं लगता कि बांध जो बड़े बांध हैं, क्योंकि ये विदेशों में तो इसको रिवॉल्व करा जा रहा है, शायद हम लोग सरकार तक मैसेज ना पहुंचा पाए, समझ नहीं पाए। और सुमाकर ने स्मॉल इज ब्यूटीफुल बुक लिखी है, उसमें बहुत अच्छा संदेश यही है कि बढ़ेगी ये काम छोटा, जो घाटों से यहाँ 1 से 2 मेगा किलोवाट बिजली हो सकती है। और लगभग ये हेस्को संस्था ने जब इसका बारे में स्टडी करी थी तो लगभग 12,000 घाट की बात यहाँ।
ये बताइए कि जो पूरी तरह से नहीं
क्यों करा, मुझे लगता है शायद हमारे लिए अभी जैसे आप देख रहे हैं वांगचुक साहब एक बहुत बड़ा आंदोलन कर रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं ग्रॉस हैप्पीनेस या कुछ एक ऐसा एक हिमालयी मॉडल अपनाना पड़ेगा, जिसके लिए काफी परिणत लोग, चाहे वंदना सिंह हो, आप बीच बचाओ आंदोलन से, और काफी लोग इसके लिए रहे हैं, लेकिन अब तक इसके लिए सरकार कोई ठोस नीति नहीं अपना पाई।
I've talked in past also my various publications. I have one thing I know, that disasters are not just techno-driven areas where technicians would come, engineers would come, or administrative people would come and assist the site or assist the event, but at the same time it's a sociological event, it's a sociological happening, because when a natural disaster happens or a man-made disaster happens, we just cannot say it's a technical dimension or a domain. Of course it is, but at the same time it is more a sociological domain or dimension, because we need to understand disasters, whether they are natural disasters or man-made disasters, from a sociological perspective, because they are impacting human life, they are impacting human society, they are impacting the very core, the very fabric of humanity, because they are happening in a society, in a community, in a particular locality. The very target of natural disasters or man-made disasters are human society, human community, human habitation, and these are the very sort of fundamental and foundational start of a sociology. That is the reason I say disasters, whether natural disasters or man-made disasters, they are sociological problems, they are sociological concerns, and if there are sociological problems and concerns, there must be sociological approaches and perspectives and methods to handle them. Thanks a lot. You're watching Riso, and this is Dr. Surendra Kumar.